Hi, this is Amos, the math guy, and in this video I want to talk briefly about what are the factors that are inhibiting or stopping young people from flourishing in their education, in their math knowledge, and so on and so forth. And what I want to propose in this video is that our students need a little bit of neuroscience and psychology discussions as it relates to the abilities or how to learn, right? I want to encourage students to learn how to learn, not simply what to learn. I don't want them to just be thinking about what to learn, but also how to learn so they can learn effectively and efficiently. So what does psychology and mathematics, what do those have to do with one another? Well, right here in front of me, I have a few books. I want to talk about them for a second. When I teach mathematics, one of the things I always try to do is integrate the history of mathematics, right? In my book, Tools for Mastery Mathematics, I talk about this, that we need to teach the history as well as the applications of mathematics. I also have a book here called The World of Mathematics by John Tyner, and it teaches students the history of math. These are books that you can order from Amos the Math Guy. You just email me, amosthemathguy@gmail.com, and I can get you connected to how to get these books. But what I want to say in this video, though, is the psychology is important in terms of getting students to think about why, right? Why am I learning this, right? A lot of these kids have the internet. They can Google things when they want. So then why, some of them are asking, why am I learning all this stuff? Why does it matter? Well, my answer to that is we need to teach the history, we need to teach the application, but then what if there's no application to the concept? We need to teach students how to think about persevering in the midst of situations they don't understand. And that's why I want to share these with teachers especially. Teachers, I think it's important to know stories of people that have faced adversities and people that had to persevere, so that when your students are saying, oh, this is so hard, I can't do this, then you, let me pull out from my wagon here, then you turn to people like Booker T. Washington. Notice I have 2 copies, so maybe this is a bonus copy. If you reach out in an email and you get books from our library, I might throw this as a bonus for you. But this is Up From Slavery, right? What does that have to do with math? Well, if you learn that Booker T. Washington had to persevere, now the kid is in math class, but he's learning how to live. How cool is that you go to math, but you leave learning how to live? That's part of why I teach math, as a tool that inspires kids to excellence in all areas of their lives. So here's a few more books to keep in mind, right? There's a few more people who have persevered. There's Thomas Sowell. His book here, Maverick, is his biography by Jason Riley. I also have other books by Thomas Sowell, but Thomas Sowell went through a lot growing up, right? But his past didn't affect his present or future, right? Here's the thing. You're going to say, well, what does that have anything to do with math? I'm just giving you stories that you can use to encourage the kids. Because here's another kid. A kid comes and says, I'm from the worst school district. I don't think I have a future. No, you can have a future. Thomas Sowell got his PhD at the age of 40, has written 40 books since then. He's 94 years old this year, God willing, and he's still making an impact. You can make an impact. Don't allow your past to inhibit you. I am willing to give my math curriculum to school districts. Like if you're in the inner city schools and you feel like we don't have resources, please reach out. We want to help. We want every child in America to get a world-class math education. Here's the deal. This is a book by Leonard Euler. Leonard Euler lived from 1707 to 1783. There's 3 people that are called the big 3, the best 3, right? In basketball, I'm sure you could argue there's 3 people that are like the best. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan. I forgot the 3rd one. Okay, anyways, those are the 3 people, right? And I play basketball. I know basketball. Don't get me wrong. I don't watch it now much. I find that America is a little too obsessed with sports and not enough with education. And so I'm trying my best to make education more exciting for the young people. So if you're in an inner city school and you just feel there's no hope for me, oh, there is hope for you, okay? Because this book written by Leonard Euler provides you with the gold of mathematics. Leonard Euler is the best. Him, Newton, and Carl Friedrich Gauss, they're like the best. And right in the beginning of their book, you know what they talk about? He talks about what is math, what is addition, what is subtraction. Why is this important? Because math is a subject that if you simply master the fundamentals, you go far. It is a subject that respects nobody. It doesn't respect your bank account. As a matter of fact, there's a man by the name of Srinivasa Ramanujan. Ramanujan from Madras in India, he didn't have much. But he wrote a letter, partly because someone encouraged him to do so. He wrote a letter to Cambridge University, and he was able to meet one of the world's best mathematicians, or one of the world's best, a colleague of one of the world's best logician, or one of the world's best mathematician at the time. And Cambridge University is known to be a powerhouse of math, right? And Ramanujan, a poor gentleman from India, ends up going to Cambridge and literally gives us mathematical principles that we still talk about today. He was so good at what he did. Notice that math allowed him to have open doors. There is no limit for you if you master mathematics. There is no limit. I guarantee you that, because when you know math, the doors are open. Okay, now some of you are like, I already love math. Why are you telling me all this? Well, let's end with a few more books. We have Theodore Roosevelt, because even if you love math, you're going to hit some hard spots. Theodore Roosevelt hit some hard spots, right? Lost his wife and his mother on the same day, Valentine's Day of 1884, I believe, right? But he came back out of that adversity. Anti-Fragile. This one I might say more for teachers. I haven't actually read the book, but I've heard of the concept, and I find that very interesting, right? Nassim Taleb has this ability to talk about observations, right? And so I've heard them talk about that in a book called The Coddling of the American Mind by Jonathan Haidt. And young people today need to learn how to live. And that's why I want to use mathematics as a tool to teach them how to live, how to handle adversity, and so on and so forth. So please, I think of our math program as a program that gives students not just the basics and the fundamentals and all the things they need in math, but it also teaches them how to think and how to live and how to learn, which leads me to Peak. This is by Anders Ericsson, a psychologist. He talks about deliberate practice. You might have read about his principle in Malcolm Gladwell's book called Outliers. But in Peak, Anders Ericsson talks about having this strategy of deliberate practice and having a coach, and a coach can help you go far. That's why I like the book Peak. And lastly, Mathematics for Human Flourishing. This is by Dr. Francis Su. Great paper. I read a great paper, and that paper is what became the book. So, well, it's part of the book. So I read the paper, heard about it then, and now there's a book called Mathematics for Human Flourishing. Guys, we can help bring some good psychology in terms of teaching people how to think and neuroscience and all of that, right? We can bring that into the equation and help kids learn how to handle adversity and just how to live, right? And so I have a channel dedicated to that topic called Living Sensibly with Amos Tarfa. But I'm just here to encourage you today to make sure that teachers, let's inspire our students to excellence, and then parents, give your students some of these biographies so they're thinking about how to handle adversity when they face it in mathematics. I hope this was helpful. The last thing I would say is that our young people need to be very careful when it comes to what they're doing with their time. There's a lot of young people who are not sleeping properly because they're using smartphones and devices for long periods of time, right? I made a whole talk about this on Saturday, about March 29th. I made a whole talk about it, about the eye disorder and this idea of smartphones and social media and the dangers. And I want to encourage you to watch that video. You can hear more about my thoughts on it. But look at two quick books here for young people. The first one is called Eye Disorder, and the second one is called Generation Sleepless. The Generation Sleepless, the subtitle is Why Tweens and Teens Aren't Sleeping Enough and How We Can Help Them. That's what this one is talking about. And then the Eye Disorder is saying understanding our obsession with technology and overcoming its hold on us. Young people, we need to read more books. We need to spend more time with people and have conversations and have dialogue and learn how to work through conflict. We need to spend our time more productively. And so that's part of the new quest. Well, it's been a quest for a long time for me, but that's part of the quest I'm going to keep emphasizing. I talk about this in my book. I've written several books, and this one is called Principles for Academic Excellence. It's on Kindle. But I want kids to pursue excellence in academics. I want kids to pursue excellence in all that they do. In my book, on page 10, I literally provide them with a grid of what do you do? When do you wake up? Do you wake up at 5 or 6, right? If you're going to wake up at 5 or 6, you have to make sure you're going to bed early, of course. And then you wake up and maybe you read your Bible and you pray and you read books and you go exercise. And these are things that I want you to put down on a schedule, young people, and then try to keep to that time. Do not stay glued on your smartphones for hours on end, because it will not help you fundamentally. Instead, it will inhibit your mental well-being. I have a whole video about mental well-being with the director of LifeSTEM Academy, Grand Forks, Dr. Jean Gullux, and I'll provide that link, or you can email Amos Tarfa, Amos the Math Guy, at gmail.com. I can send that to you as well. It will be a blessing to you. Basically, you receive from her vast knowledge of working with children for over 40 years. She's a child mental health specialist. So we need to help our young people to manage their time well. We need to help our young people to have the right mindset, which is another book by Carol Dweck, Dr. Carol Dweck out of Stanford. We need to help our young people have the right mindset about life. And then we need to give our young people some books to read, some socialization opportunities. And that actually leads me to something else here. Quick commercial break. There is a program, it's a university model school idea where it's like a hybrid, right? We did a hybrid school back in North Dakota. Students come 2 days a week and then they work from home the rest of the week. So if you're homeschooling your kids, I do want to encourage you to maybe check out opportunities for hybrid learning. Reach out to me if you have any questions on that. But it's a great opportunity to be able to give your children a place to collaborate and discuss things with people. I'm going to end with a story since we're talking about reading people's story. I'm going to end with actually a couple of stories. This one is pretty brief. But this is a book by Corey Cotton from Dude Perfect. I find these guys to be fascinating. So they do some pretty funny and cool things. And I would encourage you, if your kids are looking for good entertainment, this might be one of the options that you want to keep in mind. But anyway, so that's just a quick side story of just how cool it is that some college kids, right, from Texas A&M end up having such a stage. So anyways, that's a quick commercial break. But let me end with the story of Michael Faraday and James Clerk Maxwell, two of my favorite people in science. Whenever I hear their names, well, you can add George Washington Carver there too. Whenever I hear their names, I just get excited, right? Why? Because there was collaboration that happened between them and they were able to change the world, literally, right? Michael Faraday had the experimentation tools, and then James Clerk Maxwell had the calculation tools, and they met and something big happened. That's why I think homeschoolers coming together is a great idea, right? There's a school in West Fargo called Shiloh Christian Academy where there's going to be a hybrid program on Mondays and Thursdays, and then there's a school in Grand Forks, North Dakota, which will be a Tuesday, Thursday program with Wednesday options potentially. So reach out if you have any questions about hybrid programs, and I want to encourage you to check those out. So we have curriculums to help you with math. We want to be your one-stop shop for all mathematics. Again, we recommend other curriculums like Matthew C or Singapore Math. But the point is we also want to be a resource and provide you with math insurance, which is, imagine having access to somebody who can answer any of your math questions from any of your curriculums at any time. And you can subscribe to that program where we help be a mentor year-round for your students. We provide tutoring and mentoring. We provide mentoring year-round because we don't want kids to lose ground. And so stay tuned for our programs. We're going to be doing summer STEM camps in Austin and Houston and Dallas, as well as Duluth, Minnesota, Grand Forks, and Fargo. We're going to provide opportunities to help kids get inspired. Think of it as STEM inspiration or inspirational STEM. Actually, I prefer the first. STEM inspiration, where science inspires people to live lives that make sense. That's pretty cool. Anyway, subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.